I'm Ernie Zore, and I'm coming to you on behalf of Puritas Springs Software.
And I am Larry Housel.
Today we're going to give you a quick tour of the 2026 version of the Puritas Springs Software's Form 709 gift tax program. And every year we try to make the program easier to use while keeping it as close as possible to the Internal Revenue Service form layout itself.
That's right, and that second part of that is what I think users are going to notice first here.
Yes, you'll see that the screens look more than ever like the printed IRS forms. And that's going to make a big difference when we unveil the new Schedule A stuff.
Which will happen in a moment. I can barely contain myself with excitement.
I know, it's building.
However, before we do visit Schedule A, I think we should make everybody aware of what they're probably already aware of, which is the tree view is back.
Right. We got a lot of questions, Larry, asking, hey, where's the tree view? What did I do? How do I get it back? And the answer was we took it out to try to get more screen space, and in the end, we didn't like it ourselves, so we went back to the tree view. You end up with the best of all worlds there.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Is that what they say?
I like that quote.
Right now we're looking at page 1, and, as you might note, looks very similar to the printed Form 709 page 1.
Right, and that means that if you're familiar with the paper forms, you already then know how the screens are going to be laid out. There won't be any learning curve as far as that's concerned.
And if you've never filled the form out before, you're well on your way to knowing how to do it, because you're looking at the form right on the screen. And you're not hunting through a bunch of interview questions or having to, be forced through a wizard or anything else like that. You're working directly on the screen that matches the form.
Now, here's what I think users will really like.
I'm going to say it's Schedule A.
Oh, yes, that's right. There should be applause and maybe fanfare in the soundtrack. Hopefully that'll be added later. The Schedule A now looks like the printed Schedule A, which it did not in 2024 and 2025. And here we go, Schedule A, Part 1.
Would you look at that? Now, keep in mind that even though it doesn't sound like a big deal when you say that, it actually is, because this is where most of the work is done, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Schedule A is where all the details of the gifts are, and there's 3 parts to it. One for gifts that are only subject to the gift tax, and a second part that was for direct skips, and a third part for indirect skips.
Oh, it's starting to make more sense. As you can see, all parts 1, 2, and 3 are now laid out just like the actual IRS schedule.
That's right. Information is entered in the same place and in the same order as the printed return, and that makes the program easy to follow.
So now Schedule A can be a little bit tricky because some of the lines are gift entries and other lines are really just like the address and description of the gift. But this is where the 2026 version really undertook and successfully simplified that whole process, didn't it?
Right. I think I'll do that right now. I'll item number 1. Cousin Jimmy, relationship cousin. What else? Cash. $50,000. And this was on July 4th. Yeah.
And so what if you don't put an item number in?
I was just about to do that. Darn you, Larry.
Oh, you sure did. Yeah, right. And now this here is demonstrating what we get a lot of questions about, which is, hey, I've got a really long address, or more often, I've got a really long description. And say it's a piece of property or something like that. There's no way I can fit it in on this thing, or it's saying reduced text or some kind of error from our software. Right here, what you're demonstrating is how to solve that, right?
That's right. And Larry, you had a good question or a good observation there about the item number. You might ask, well, how does the program know then which which line items are financially relevant and which aren't. And the item number is the key to it, actually. Whatever has an item number, that's going to have an amount.
I see.
And if there's no item number, it just figures that that's just collateral information irrelevant to the actual calculation, and like the address here.
And the program's going to handle it on its own, right? So if you put in a long description, it's going to automatically put it out in the... Oh, no, you're putting it right in there.
Yeah,
I was thinking of worksheets.
The rule is really simple. If it's got an item number, then you better fill the amount column out.
And if it doesn't, then it's just an extension of the
just
information.
like you see here. That's right.
Yeah. That's value add right there. So what about part 4?
Good question.
Schedule A?
Let's go there. I'll do it in the tree view, Larry.
Oh, that's,
Isn't that cool?
Some things never. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm just gonna say a bunch of one-liners.
I like it. Yeah. Never. So let's see where. Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
So part 4, Schedule A.
And that is where the totals from parts 1, 2, and 3 of Schedule A are tallied, and you see that on line 1. The other thing, and the one you always get questions about, is the annual exclusion. And here I had only put in one person, and so it correctly gave me, at least for 2025 and 6, $19,000 exclusion.
Well, I don't want to confuse anything here, Ernie, but $19,000 was the exclusion for 2025.
Right, I don't believe it changed. And at the time that we're doing this video, I would say that you probably want to double check that $19,000 figure, since it changes every year.
Typically does. But
Typically,
so
right.
far, according to the IRS website, it hasn't changed yet as of June 2026. So what about the annual exclusion? Is that...
Well, that would be the people that are mentioned on the on Schedule A. Let's go back to where that entry was. There we go. Cousin Jimmy. Basically, I said, "Oh, the item number. Yeah, that's relevant. You gotta have that if you're gonna put something in the amount columns." Well, yeah, that's true, but it's also true that whatever you put in there on that line for donee's name, that's going to be counted as as one beneficiary. So if you had a number 2, Mary Smith, and then put in her address, Mary Smith, because she's on an item number line, she would be matched up with Cousin Jimmy. No, I don't mean it like that, but it would be, she would be placed in a database with Cousin Jimmy, and it would be a database that doesn't allow duplicates. So if you had another Cousin Jimmy down here, because there were 2 gifts made at 2 different times of the year, or something like that, it wouldn't count for purposes of, what started us off on this is Schedule A Part 4 in the annual exclusion. So it would not count the second Cousin Jimmy as an additional beneficiary, so long as it was exactly matching. Now, if it was Cousin Jimmy Joe, that wouldn't be any good. That wasn't even a good example on my part. Hopefully we can cut that out.
Well, why wouldn't it be?
Well, because I wanted something more subtle, like, say,
Cousin Jimmy,
or no,
spelled with an I or something.
That was a smarty pants example. Let's say there's a third, and it's Mary
T. Smith, gotcha.
Okay, even though that's the same person and everybody in the family knows it's the same person, the program is going to count that as 2 different beneficiaries. And it's even so picky as to say, these are 2 different beneficiaries. You want to be careful about that.
Definitely something to keep in mind. Oh, that takes us to, Schedule B. We'll follow in order of the alphabet.
And you know what? Let's go Schedule B. All right.
Look at that.
Yeah, we're not doing anything with Schedule B because Schedule B is for prior gifts, and it involves things that would, for us to go into it, would turn this into a much longer video. And we will probably do a separate video on that subject alone.
Yeah, because prior gifts is worth its own video.
So let's take a look then and move on to what? Schedule C?
Yeah, I think so. Something that we can maybe cover without any time constraints here.
And cover it we will not. Because it's for deceased spouses.
And so now that brings us to Schedule D.
Right. Schedule D is for generation skipping transfer tax, usually called the GST.
So what does that mean in plain English, if you will?
Yes, in plain English, Schedule D is used when a gift or transfer skips a generation. The most common example is a gift to a grandchild.
And Schedule D pulls information from Schedule A?
Schedule D pulls that information from gifts reported on Schedule A, Part 2. And that information transfers to Schedule D.
Interesting. So all gifts are going to be on Schedule A, but if it's a GST gift or qualifies as GST, it's going to pull that into Schedule D.
Correct.
So the user still has to enter the information correctly, but the program is going to help with the calculations.
That's right. The program handles much of that calculation work for you. You still need to enter the correct stuff, of course, and I think there is one column. Let's take a look. I think there is one column
It's just
where...
an example of us trying to make life easier on
Yeah,
it.
if there is a description for ETIP transfers and non-taxable portion, if those, you'd fill that in, but everything else the program is going to fill in automatically. And so basically, like in summary, the thing is that we were trying to say is that the screens look more than ever like the forms in a good way. And the tree view's back by popular demand, so it's all good news.
I think it is. And I think anybody watching the video, if they're used to our software, they're going to look at this and say, oh my goodness, that's quite an upgrade. And if you've never used our software before, congratulations. You're in for a much easier Form 709 experience.
I feel that there will be several more short videos on subjects like the DSUE and maybe how to complete Schedule D, which we just showed Schedule D, but we didn't really get into the specifics of the form.
Yeah, there will certainly be more to come, but this is just a quick overview of the upcoming release of the 2026 709 program.
That's right. So what we want to do is thank you for spending a few precious minutes with us. As always, if you have questions, comments, or suggestions, let us know.
And don't forget that it helps our video with search engines and Google's algorithm if you like and subscribe to it. And we really appreciate you using our software and watching our videos.
Hey, we'll see you next time. Bye.